Coming up on China Report, Chinese President Xi Jinping has encouraged a herding family near the Himalayas in southwest China's Tibet Autonomous Region to set down roots in the border area, safeguard Chinese territory, and develop their hometown. And in an interview with CNC, chairman of Britain's 48 Group Club, Stephen Parry, discussed China's development, saying a new era in China is a new era for the world. Hello and welcome to this edition of China Report. I'm Li Xiangni in Beijing. Chinese President Xi Jinping has encouraged a herding family in Longzheng County near the Himalayas in southwest China's Tibet Autonomous Region to set down roots in the border area, safeguard the Chinese territory, and develop their hometown.
Xi made the remarks in a reply delivered to the Tibetan herders Saturday after they wrote to him introducing their township. He acknowledged the family's efforts in safeguarding the territory and thanked them for the loyalty and contributions they have made in the border area. He hoped that the family would motivate more herders to set down roots in the border area like Galsan flowers and become guardians of the Chinese territory and constructors of a happy hometown. Moreover, fresh off the 19th CPC National Congress, Xi told the family that the party would continue to lead people of all ethnic groups towards better lives. Both girls, Joy Gar and Yan Zhang from the Tibetan family, wrote the letter to Xi while the 19th CPC National Congress was in session in Beijing, telling him their experiences in safeguarding the border area and the development of their township over the years. The family is based in Yumai, China's smallest town in terms of population, which sits at the southern foot of the Himalayas, where steep slopes and rugged paths make it difficult to access.
Former Australian Prime Minister Kevin Rudd has said the ideology of China has brought enormous benefits to the Chinese people. Take a listen.
In a public talk at the Australian National University on Friday, Rudd also called on the observers and analysts in the West to find a necessary balance in their China debate so as to avoid demonizing China or the other way. He also spoke highly of China's poverty reduction and many other social developments, saying there is nothing more ignoble than poverty. He said in the past decades, China has successfully elevated more than 700 million of the population out of poverty, an achievement that should be recognized and given the thumbs up. Rudd added that to understand the direction of China's development at present, one must look at China's history and efforts to build a strong nation to guard against exploitation and invasion. He noted that now China has gained national wealth and power. Rudd stressed China has become a substantial contributor to international organizations, including the UN, adding that China is working to integrate itself with these international organizations. On China's role in global governance, Rudd said that China has also initiated a new set of international mechanisms, such as the Asian Infrastructure Investment Bank and the Belt and Road Initiative. Kevin Rudd was leader of the Australian Labor Party from 2006 to 2010 and held the premiership of Australia from 2007 to 2010 and again briefly in 2013. He is also a fluent Mandarin speaker and a world-renowned China expert.
At the recently concluded 19th National Congress of the Communist Party of China, the CPC enshrined Xi Jinping's thought on socialism with Chinese characteristics for a new era to its constitution. In an exclusive interview with CNC, chairman of Britain's 48 Group Club, Stephen Parry, discussed China's development, saying a new era in China is a new era for the world.
Parry said Xi Jinping's thought on socialism with Chinese characteristics for a new era will be an important guiding principle for China for the long term. He said the mention of a new era indicates a modern economy and a modern society are to be built.
When you talk about a new era, we're talking about China moving from what it's spent the last 38 years doing, which is moving 700 million people out of poverty, moving 700 million people essentially off of the countryside into cities and towns. It's been building a basic industrial capability, a service capability that didn't exist before, and providing agricultural output from a much smaller population on the basis of mass production. So a lot of that's been put in place. What is now going to happen is a modern economy and a modern society is going to be built.
He said that many countries have been bewildered to what's the best way to develop their countries, and now having seen the success of China, they're going to spend more time studying the Chinese way.
the effect of the new era of socialism with Chinese characteristics, its effect on the world has different impacts in different areas. For example, many countries have been bewildered as to what is the best way to develop their countries. Now they're going to have seen the success of China, and they're going to spend more time studying the Chinese way. A second impact is, of course, in the area of world growth. The West is stuck. Since 2008, in fact, even before that, in 2007, growth was coming to a standstill at 2%, something like that, 2-3%. The problem for the West is where to get the growth that they need to deliver a better standard of living for the people and profits for their companies. I think that the new era speaks of China being more proud, as it should be, of its history, its civilization, and what it's achieved, and being prepared to project that to others. People project to China their ideas, their thoughts. China will, in its new era, project itself more on the world stage. And lastly, China has shown in the last 5 years that it is committed to helping create a world of shared objectives.
The expert also talked about the Belt and Road Initiative, noting the global significance of the initiative.
The Belt and Road Initiative is the most significant global initiative ever contemplated. And I've spent a lot of time studying it and analysing it. We're in the first period of BRI, that is building the infrastructure. If you build the infrastructure, then you can build the economy. So China's putting in place the infrastructure of BRI. That provides some opportunities for the West, some financial opportunities, some consulting opportunities, even some construction opportunities.
The Chinese embassy in Afghanistan said China has donated over 4,200 tons of emergency food aid to the country.
Chinese Chargé d'Affaires Zhang Jianxing and Afghan Acting State Minister for Disaster Management and Humanitarian Affairs Mohammad Aslam Sayaz attended the handover ceremony on Sunday. China presented Afghanistan with the first batch of aid, amounting to 502 tons of rice. The rest is to arrive in Kabul before March 2018. With the onset of winter, many Afghans, particularly in rural areas, are facing difficulties. The latest food donation by China is set to help Afghans receive assistance before conditions worsen. Sayaz told reporters the first batch of the donations will be transported to the 5 most vulnerable provinces in the country. He expressed gratitude to China for the country's cooperation with the government and people of Afghanistan.
Bangladesh and China have signed an agreement on the new $700 million oil pipeline project. When finished, the pipe is planned to stretch 220 kilometers from oil tankers in the Bay of Bengal to storage plants on the mainland.
On Sunday, Bangladesh's Economic Relations Department Secretary and the Chinese ambassador joined together to sign the framework agreement. They said the project will ensure energy security for Bangladesh, as well as save around $12.5 million of operational costs per year. Under the project, a Chinese firm will build 146 kilometers of offshore pipeline and 74 kilometers of onshore pipeline, carrying imported oil from the sea to a refinery in the Chittagong district. Officials say the project costs around $690 million, and when finished will have an annual unloading capacity of 9 million tons. The project was launched as Bangladesh is unable to accept large vessels due to its shallow waters and constrained facilities at its main seaport in Chittagong. Currently, large tankers are forced to anchor deep at sea, with smaller ships paid to come out and unload them.
Vietnam has attracted more and more Chinese tourists in recent years, which is greatly contributing to people-to-people exchanges between China and Southeast Asia.
By October 27th this year, a total of 7.8 million people have entered or exited China through Zhengxin Port, which connects China and Vietnam. It has made a new record this year, as the number was 7.16 million last year. In Guangxi Zhuang Autonomous Region, a Chinese tourist can enjoy a one-day tour of Dongxing and neighboring Mong Cai in Vietnam by showing only his or her ID card. Self-driving trips between the two cities have also been allowed since 2016. From January to June, nearly 368,000 cross-border trips were made via Dongxing, up 17.8% year-on-year. Since 2000, nearly 20 documents have been signed to encourage bilateral tourism.
China will build its 5th research station in Antarctic. China already has 4 Antarctic research bases of its own: Great Wall, Zhongshan, Kunlun, and Taishan. China Report has the details.
According to the State Oceanic Administration, Chinese researchers have selected the site for the new station. It will be on an inexpressible island in the Terra Nova Bay in the Ross Sea. Director of the SOA Polar Expedition Office said the new base will be a perennial research station and be able to independently carry out multiple scientific investigations in the Antarctic. The Ross Sea is the deep bay in the Southern Ocean, regarded as the least altered marine ecosystem on Earth, a living laboratory that could possibly tell the life history of the Antarctic. China has built 4 Antarctic research stations over 30 years of research, with Changchun and Zhongshan serving as 2 perennial stations and Taishan and Kunlun being the 2 summer stations. Meanwhile, China is building the first homemade polar icebreaker Xuelong 2, which is expected to be completed in 2019. Scientists say it will provide a solid guarantee for China's polar expeditions.
The 122nd China Import and Export Fair, also known as the Canton Fair, is in full swing in Guangzhou, capital of southern China's Guangdong province. Over 7,000 companies are exhibiting their products at the fair. The International Committee of the Red Cross has for the first time sent representatives to attend the fair this year, with the aim of finding solutions for international humanitarian aid. CNC has the story.
Chuangsheng Stainless Steel Products is a major supplier of the International Committee of the Red Cross, or ICRC. The Guangdong-based company recently produced over 10,000 disaster relief boxes, each containing enough pans, bowls, knives, fork, and other kitchenware for a family of 5. The boxes are to be sent to refugee camps in Kenya. The ICRC initially bought Chinese goods through intermediaries. It was not until 2009 that they began to explore the Chinese market directly. The organization has so far purchased solar-powered LEDs, water pipes, tents, plastic buckets, greenhouse equipment, irrigation systems, and energy-saving lights from China. Otaegui stressed that ICRC has an ethical procurement policy, so companies they work with must meet high standards. Changsheng has produced over 200,000 sets of tableware for ICRC every year since 2013. The products have been sent to centers in Amman, Nairobi, and Abidjan as part of humanitarian aid packages for countries around the world. Yang Yingzhi, manager of the foreign trade at Changsheng, said that the company spent over $750,000 to meet ICRC standards.
The biggest improvement is at the polishing production line. The polishing of the stainless steel products has a comparatively large impact on the environment, so we expanded the working space and installed some new sewage disposal equipment, and we also improved the safety protection of our workers.
Official figures show that ICRC has increased purchases from Chinese businesses from $7 million in 2013 to $20 million in 2016. Otaegui said the ICRC expected to buy 10% to 20% more Chinese products over the next few years. Pierre Dorbis, head of the regional delegation for East Asia of ICRC, sees a bright future for the ICRC and China.
We see in the Chinese company opportunities to buy a good quality product, but also to develop with them products that can be extremely useful for humanitarian aid programs. We need to be innovative and to create the product that will be distributed tomorrow. Some of them are in the making. So I see an important role in the partnership between the Red Cross, between the ICRC and the private sector in general.
Thousands of Indonesian students have flocked to an education and job fair in Jakarta, keen to hear more about a possible future in China. China Report has more.
Sunday in Jakarta, where thousands of students are welcome to this year's Chinese Education Expo and Job Fair. In all, 20 universities are here, including some of China's most famous, such as Beijing Normal University, Xiamen University, and Sun Yat-sen University. They're joined by a number of firms which are also on the lookout for bright new recruits, including Air China, Air Xiamen, Weiwo Electronica, and uCloud Link. The exhibition is also a chance for parents to get a closer look before sending their children off overseas.
Chinese people are now everywhere and more go international unlike in the past. Our child can have a better opportunity to do business and brighter future if she understands the Chinese culture.
China is a growing destination for overseas students. In 2015, 15,000 Indonesian people took the Chinese proficiency test.
Now, China has become the world's third largest destination for overseas students. In 2016, over 600,000 foreigners took part in the HSK exams. The enthusiasm for learning Chinese is very strong, and the number of overseas students studying in China is growing very fast.
The chief executive of Mandarin Education Coordination in Indonesia says he expects the education and job fair could be held annually.
We hope that we could make the exhibition an annual event so that it can serve as a platform for Indonesian students to better understand China's universities, to have more choices to study in China. When they come back to Indonesia, they could be able to work for more Chinese-funded enterprises.
Today, China is the second most popular overseas destination for Indonesian college students, with 14,000 Indonesians recorded to be studying in China now.
Meanwhile, at a concert on the other side of the world, performers from the European Union Youth Orchestra and the Shanghai Orchestra Academy have hosted a joint performance together in China. China Report takes a look.
At the Shanghai Symphony Hall, the two groups joined to present some of the most well-known masterpieces, including Mozart's Serenade No. 12, Ravel's Introduction and Allegro, as well as some This was the first of a series of concerts under the EU-China Orchestra Exchange Program. It was organized by the EU delegation to China as part of its two-year Experience Europe campaign, which aims to boost cultural and people-to-people exchanges between the EU.
To Chicago now, where a sold-out concert has brought a unique blend of Western and Chinese music. China Report went along to listen.
The concert was performed by the China National Center for the Performing Arts Orchestra on tour at the Symphony Center in Chicago on Saturday night. It began with the Chinese composer Zhao Jiping's Violin Concerto No. 1 with Ning Feng as the soloist. Zhao is one of the best-known composers in China. He gained his international fame for his music scores in films, including Farewell, My Concubine, directed by Chen Kaige in 1993, and the Zhang Yimou films Raise the Red Lantern and To Live. Lu Jia, music director and chief conductor of the NCPA Orchestra, said the orchestra made extensive efforts for the U.S. tour, especially on the selection of music. Features pipa, a 4-string Chinese musical instrument, with Wu Man, a world-renowned pipa virtuoso, as the soloist. Wu played American composer Lo Harrison's Pipa Concerto with String Orchestra, which was commissioned for her in 1997.
When I first came to the U.S. 27 years ago, there were few people who knew about traditional Chinese music. But a huge change is taking place in introducing traditional Chinese musical instruments to Western audiences.
Chicago is the first leg of the current tour of the NCPA Orchestra. It will also make its debut at Carnegie Hall in New York City and stop by in Philadelphia, San Francisco, and Chapel Hill.
22-year-old Feng Boyuan is the first Chinese player who is playing in the Croatian First Football League. China Report has his story.
Feng Boyuan has signed a contract with football club Rudz in Croatia's capital Zagreb, one of the top 10 clubs in the southeastern European country. The Chinese player said he cherishes opportunities to play with the best players in Croatian league. Croatia won the bronze medal at the 1998 FIFA World Cup. It is precious experience for Feng to learn and play in a country known for great football players. Feng also said the country is equipped with good football schools and training facilities. Feng said the whole team is getting along very well and is happy here, making progress every day. The team's head coach praised Feng's hard work. It is the first time for the Croatian football team Rudz to cooperate with the Chinese club. The manager of the club expected the Croatian-China cooperation to expand in the future.
This is the end of today's programs. For more news and highlights, follow us on our website. It's en.cnsnews.cn. Thank you for being with us. We'll see you next time.
云天无际，承载梦想。中国南方航空是中国运输飞机最多、航线网络最发达、年客运量最大的航空公司。亚洲第一，全球第三，是南航缔造的业界奇迹。 蓝天壮志情，云海谱华章。
同心地产，芝加哥最大的华人中介团队，无论是家居或是商业地产，给你带来全方位的最佳服务。
专业的团队，丰厚的经验。
Welcome to Chicago. Welcome to the Lake Cook Law Group.
投资理财、法律咨询，芝加哥专业律师团队为您的梦想提供最安全的保障。
This is Little Chinese Channel, 小小中文 Lesson 32. In this lesson, we will be learning these 6 Chinese characters. From the last lesson, we learned the character Jing. If we put a dot on the bottom, this character is Ling. Ling. Ling means order or command. 命令, 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 命令 means order or command. Ling is part of these 2 characters. Time for a new root character. What's this? Jing, jing, jing means a unit of weight. That is 0.5 kilograms. 两斤, 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 两斤 is equal to 1 kilogram. If we take the vertical stroke out and put in 8 coal from lesson 13, it turns into ho, ho, ho means rear. 后面, 后面后面后面 means rear. 后灯后灯后灯后灯 is rear lights. Time for a new road character. Have a R from lesson 1 and 3 dots. What's this? Li. Li. Li means to stand. 站立站立站立站立 means to be standing. If we put in a 时 that we learned from lesson 1 at the bottom, this character is 辛. 辛 means hardworking. 辛苦辛苦辛苦辛苦 means hardworking. We take this out, the shirt out, and place a from lesson 22. This character is 音 means sound. 声音 means sound. 音乐 means music. Okay, it's time to write. Remember when you're writing to follow the stroke sequence. Li. Jing. Ho. Li. Xin. Ying.